Well, Betty, typically when we receive these cards that you had sent back into our office, it's one of a couple reasons. A lot of times people will send those in if they just had a recent health scare or if they've experienced a funeral. By chance, have you had any health scares at all? You haven't. How about any funerals recently? Okay, you have. All right. Well, I'm definitely sorry to hear about that. Was it someone close to you? Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, geez. Yeah, it makes it tough. Very, very sorry to hear that. Were you part of like the planning process and stuff? Okay. So a lot of this, what I'm going to talk about today, Betty, is going to be very familiar, and it's going to really make sense to you. Now, with your sister, did she have life insurance, or um, did she have no coverage? She did have some. Okay. All right. Well, I get a better understanding now why I'm here and why you filled the card out. So, Betty, today is going to be very, very simple and easy. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some very easy health questions, some very basic information. Um, I'm going to share with you a little bit about what our company does that's different than everybody else, and then we'll see what benefits that you qualify for. Fair enough? Okay. All right. So I've got obviously your name in. I've got that in already. Now your date of birth. Okay. And obviously we're in Lima, Ohio here. Now some of these questions, like I said, are a little bit silly, so just bear with me. Are you currently hospitalized or in a nursing facility? Okay. Awesome. Now, have you been hospitalized 2 or more times in the past 10 years? Have you been admitted and stayed overnight 2 or more times, 2 separate occasions in the past 10 years? No. Okay. Have you ever been diagnosed with cancer or had a stroke? Nope. Okay. Do you use any form of tobacco or nicotine? No. Great. Now, in the past 10 years, have you used any form of tobacco or nicotine products or had a blood pressure reading over 135 over 85? Okay. Excellent. Now, I know this isn't real polite, but I've got to ask anyway. Approximate height and weight. Okay. Very good. Now, Betty, how about any medications? Do you take any medications currently? Okay. Now, by chance, could you go grab those medications? If you have them in a box, it's perfectly fine. Just bring all those out. That way I can get them all entered correctly. Thank you. Okay, Betty, I entered all your medications, and based off of the information that you gave me so far, you actually qualify for one of our best plans, and that's a super preferred whole life plan. Okay, so congratulations for being in great shape. Definitely pays. That's one of our best products, so that's awesome. Now, Betty, when I first started in this business in 2015, back then, funeral expenses range anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000. And any more today, now that we're in 2022, the rates have gone up drastically at the funeral homes. Yep, exactly. I see you nodding your head yes. So anymore from 7 to 10, it's almost double. It's almost looking at that 15 to 20 range. Okay. Now, what I'm going to show you here today, this is going to be yours. And what I have here is a final expense planner. All right. And what I tell everybody here on this, this isn't something I have to fill out today, but what I would do is just leave it right here on your table and just find some quiet time, and you can go in and it's got everything in there, all your details. That way you can fill that out for when that time comes. Your kids, your grandkids, they don't have to guess. All right, they know exactly what you want. Okay, so just find some quiet time. I know it's not real fun, but once you have it done, it's done, and then you can file it away. Fair enough? All right, good deal. Now, what this plan here, Betty, is it is a permanent whole life plan. So I always ask my clients, do you know the difference between term and whole life insurance? So with term insurance, it basically is short for it's going to terminate. So in most situations, you may have anywhere from a 10, 15, 20-year term policy. A lot of times during that term, your rates are going to continue to go up. At the end of that term, you are no longer covered, and everything that you paid into that is gone in most situations. Okay? So term is like renting. All right? Whole life, you own it. Okay? Whole life, which most of our clients are on a fixed income, okay, so price matters and budgets matter, and having a locked in rate matters, okay? So that's where this comes in. With whole life, you lock in your rate, so you don't have to worry about that rate ever going up, and it's going to be there until the day that you pass, okay? Once you pass, that policy is going to get paid out to your beneficiary, whomever that may be. And what we're going to do is we're going to pay that claim out within 24 hours. Okay, that's how we set ourselves apart a little bit from everybody else. We like to pay those claims out right away because we know that our clients, they need that, their families need that money. Okay, the funeral home wants paid. Now, most insurance companies are not doing anything wrong, but on average, a life insurance policy pays out anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Okay, so that's a little bit of the difference with us. So the other big thing is we don't have to do any blood work or any medical exams. All we do is ask a few health questions, and that's it. So we keep it very, very simple and easy. All right. Now, this right here is probably the biggest reason why I'm with the company. Okay, so when you get a senior life policy, you also get a membership to Legacy Assurance. Okay, so the Legacy Assurance is owned by the same gentleman that owns Senior Life, which is Ron Powell. And with the Legacy Assurance, you basically get three things. Okay, first is you get all your funeral merchandise locked in. Okay, so whether you pass, in a short amount of time or 30, 40, 50 years from now, it does not matter. Okay, your rates are going to be locked in. So things like your casket, your vault, your headstone, your urns are all going to be locked in. All right, so for an example, when you become a client of ours, you have the option to go on our website and choose any casket that we have, and every one of those caskets are $2,000 and they stay locked in, and that's nothing that you have to pay for up front. Okay, the vaults, which are mandatory in pretty much all cemeteries now, those are locked in at $1,000. Okay, and by federal law, funeral homes cannot charge you for outside merchandise. Okay, so like a casket, we'll ship anywhere in the country within 24 to 48 hours. A vault within 48 hours or slightly after. Okay, headstones anymore today, they run $3,000 to $4,000. With us, you can get as low as $850. Those usually take about 4 to 6 weeks to get in. Okay, so that's the first thing we do is we lock in all funeral merchandise. So what I always ask folks with, and this goes for funeral homes too, with their merchandise, everything's going up right now. So in the next 20 years, do you think funeral merchandise is going to go up, down, or stay the same? Exactly. It's going to go up. Okay. And with us, it won't. It stays locked in. Okay. Number two, we have a wish team at our home office. Okay. They are advocates for your family for when that time comes and you pass away. Okay. What they're going to do is they're going to negotiate with the funeral home of your choice, such things as embalming, the viewing, the ceremony, the prepping of the body, the flowers, you name it. They are going to negotiate out those services with the funeral home. Okay. The only thing that they can't negotiate is the funeral home's basic fee. All right. That's a non negotiable. Okay. And that goes for all funeral homes. Okay. Does that make sense so far? Awesome. Okay. Third thing is we're going to protect all policies. So typically, when someone passes and the family goes to the funeral home, one of the first few questions that's going to be asked is form of payment or any life insurance. Okay. And when we're dealing with the funeral home, we're not letting them know how much life insurance that you have with us or any other company. Okay. We feel that's not their business. We just want an itemized quote from them. Okay, so we protect all policies because you know how this works. If they know that you have a $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 policy, in a lot of funeral homes, not all of them, but several, what they're going to try to do is use up as much policy as they possibly can. Okay, for us, we want to get you exactly what you want. Okay, and what we want to try to do is get that done for the least amount of money as possible. Okay, because we want as much money going back to your family, your kids, and your grandkids, rather than to the funeral home's kids and their grandkids. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, a living benefit that you have is you do get a 24/7 on-call doctor. You have a cold, allergies, flu. So if you're traveling around and you want to get a hold of a doctor right away, we have one on call 24/7. Okay? Now, next thing I'm going to do is play a quick little video. It's just a few minutes, and this is clients of ours that have experienced the legacy, so they're just going to explain a little bit about their experience, okay? Okay, now in that video, do you have any questions? Anything at all? No? Okay. Well, looks like I've done a pretty good job of explaining myself then if you don't have any questions. That's fantastic. Okay. Now let's look at some protection plans here, Betty. Now, a question that I always have for my clients is, what do you want? Do you want to take care of just your final expenses, or do you want to try to leave some money behind? What's important to you? Very good. Okay, so you just kind of want to take care of your final expenses. That way there's no burden on any of your family. Perfect. Okay. Now, I've got a few protection plans here that we're going to go over. Now, let me ask you here quick, Betty, who are we looking to try to protect? As far as who is this money are we sending this to when that time comes? Is in your beneficiary. Okay. Daughter Samantha. All right. Very good. Okay, so we have a few protection plans here that I'm going to show you what you qualify for as well. So, first protection plan here is for $14,000 of coverage, which would take care of your final expenses. We also include this in this price here is your accidental. So if you pass away from an accident, it would pay out an additional $14,000. Okay, so pass away of natural cause, $14,000. Pass away from an accident, it pays out $28,000. That first protection plan is $72.93 a month. Okay, a little bit better option would be $16,000, $32,000 for an accident. That would be $82.34. Best protection plan would be $18,000 if you pass away of natural cause, $36,000 if you pass away from an accident. This would all be money that's going to your daughter Samantha when that time comes. That price would be $91.75. And then the last one here, you actually qualify for our top plan, which is $30,000. Not saying you want that, but I at least got to show you what you qualify for. So same thing, $30,000 of natural cause, $60,000 if you pass away from an accident. That would be $148.20. Okay. So now, of these protection plans, which do you feel would protect Samantha the best? 16,000. Okay. 8234. Now, Betty, what I always do is I want to make sure that this hits your target just right. So that is a perfect amount. Now, I know when my wife and I, when we did our policies, we have 4 kids. So our most expensive month of the year is December during Christmas. And we felt if we could afford it during December, we were good to go. So this 8234, do you feel even in your most expensive month that fits? Perfect. Sounds great. Now, Samantha is your primary beneficiary. What is her last name? Okay, very good, very good. All right. Now, if something would happen to Samantha, who would be your secondary beneficiary? Your son, Bob. Okay, fantastic. All right. Now, when you become a client of ours, obviously you get the legacy. You get up to 4 additional legacy memberships that you can give out to anyone in your household, which you have 4 additional people here for $0. So just so we don't get confused, it's not an additional life insurance policy unless you want to get one for them. It's just the legacy membership portion. So locking in the merchandise, the negotiating and protecting policies. We can give this membership to 4 additional people in your household. Okay, so we might as well go ahead and take care of that, right? Very good. All right. Now, some quick health questions. Are you currently hospitalized, confined to a nursing home, receiving hospice care, unable to care for yourself, terminally ill, or do you expect to be admitted to a hospital or nursing facility? No. Have you tested positive for or been diagnosed by a physician as having a human immunodeficiency virus infection or acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which is AIDS? In the past 6 months, have you experienced any unexplained weight loss or weight gain? In the past 5 years, have you used any form of tobacco or nicotine? In the past 5 years, have you been hospitalized 2 or more times? In the past 5 years, have you been advised or recommended to have any tests excluding HIV, treatment, surgery, or hospitalization which has not been received or completed, or been advised to take medications and have not been compliant? Okay. In the past 5 years, have you had been treated for, received medical advice, been prescribed medication for, been diagnosed by a member of the medical profession with uncontrolled diabetes, including complications from such uncontrolled high blood pressure, stroke, paralysis, cancer, any heart, organ, or lung disease, including chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is COPD, emphysema, mental disorder, retardation, disorder of the brain or nervous system, or any impairment, disorder, disease, transplant, or chronic illness? Yeah, great. In the past 5 years, have you used any illegal drugs, been treated for drug or alcohol abuse, been advised by a physician to reduce alcohol consumption, been noted to excessively consume alcohol, or been arrested or incarcerated for any reason? Okay. And then your primary physician? Awesome. Very good. Now, Betty, who do you bank with here in town? Chase Bank? Okay, very good. Now, what I need to do real quick is go grab your license and a checkbook. So we're going to collect the first payment here today, and we can actually make that for $4 less. Okay. All right, so go ahead. Let's get that filled out. So it'd be $72.93. So it's $4. Excuse me, $78.43. $4 less. After this payment, which day of the month do you like this processed by your bank? Typically, most of my clients get paid on the 1st or the 3rd, so they like to get it lined up for that. Okay, so on the 3rd. All right, very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture here of that check and make sure you have it made out and signed. All this is going to do is provide verification to our home office. Okay, once we're done here with that picture, all you have to do is write void, and then you can keep the check. Okay. All right, I got that submitted. All right, now it's just going to do a quick background check on you, quick pharmacy check. Okay, I think we're good to go. All right, so it looks like you qualified for the super preferred. So congratulations on that. Congratulations on getting covered. And now you also have the legacy, which again will do everything that we said it was going to do as far as lock in the merchandise, negotiate, and we will protect all policies. Okay, which is fantastic. Now, Betty, here's a promise that I need from you. It's going to be $82.43 every single month. Okay. Now, if you come across any issue where you can't afford it or something major happens, now this is one thing that you want to keep active. Okay, because once it becomes no longer active, then that money won't be there for Samantha when she really needs it. Okay, so if you have run across any issues, you call me immediately, and we want to make sure that we have a phone call with Samantha, maybe your son Bob, who's your secondary beneficiary, to let them know you're going to get an ID card with the legacy, and that they need to call the legacy immediately when that time comes, which hopefully isn't for a long, long time. Okay, but they need to call that number right away before they call any funeral home. Okay, the legacy will, they're open 24 hours, 7 days. Somebody will answer 24 hours, 7 days a week. So make sure that we notify them right away. Now, one thing that I do with all of my clients here, all right, Betty, I'm going to test you a little bit. All right, what I would like for you to do, if you would please, just educate me back on what we just went over today as far as with the legacy. Fantastic. You're doing great. Thank you. And 82.43 is the price. Okay, so we're locked in there. And you also know if you ever come across any questions or concerns, you reach out to me right away. That's a promise I need from you. The promise I'm going to give back to you is when your family needs you, or if you need anything, that I will return your phone calls. All right, and then I will be there for your family when that time comes, on their worst day of their life. When everybody's asking for or handing out a bill, I'm going to be there with a check, making sure that everything runs smoothly for them so they just have time to grieve. Okay? Awesome. Now, The last thing, Betty, you've made my job very easy. All right. What I like to do is I like to try to help as many people that are on a fixed income as possible, because a lot of people don't know about what we do. Okay, and I think that's really, really important. And I keep things very simple and easy. Do you know of any folks that are on a fixed income that, how I like to put it is, if they passed away, your family would be calling you, or they would have to call friends and family to help pay for their loved ones' final expenses. Those are the people that we want to help first. My record is 10. Typically, I get about 3 to 5. So it's your choice. We can either shoot for a record or we can go 3 to 5. It doesn't matter, but we definitely want to try to help more folks that are on a fixed income. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so that's the presentation, guys. Some highlights here, some things to go over is this. When I walk into a home, I try to get 2 to 3 yeses before we even get to the kitchen table. Undeniable yeses. So whether I'm talking about the weather, the neighborhood, whether it's loud or very quiet, whether it's cloudy or sunny, anything that's going to get back an undeniable yes, those are the questions that I want to ask. When I'm going to the kitchen table, I always try to get to the kitchen table. If I'm sitting with a husband and wife, I want them sitting directly at face to face from me. Okay, I do not want them on each side of me. Okay, so I want 4 eyes looking right at me. Super important. Okay, always keep control. When I'm first talking to the client, I like to find out, have they lived there for a while? That's number one. Do they have any kids, grandkids? Number two, are they from that city and state, or did they move in? So those are some questions that I ask. I don't do a lot of rapport building. Those are just some questions I like to ask right up front. I think that's super, super important. We don't talk about any hobbies or anything like that until maybe later, okay? I always ask the question up front. I want to know why they filled this card out, okay? Did they have a health scare or did they experience a funeral recently? If they experienced a funeral recently, like the client that I just went over with you, I like to ask some additional questions, okay? I want to know, was it someone close to them? I want to know, did they have, were they a part of the planning process? Did they have life insurance? Okay. So those are some things with I want to know before I get started into Slice, I want to know why they filled this card out without directly asking them. Okay. I think that's very important. Once you get in, I like to use the word simple and easy. Okay. So you'll hear that throughout the presentation. The other thing is once you start in on the Slice, just go frame by frame. Okay. Don't be jumping around all over the place. Just whatever's on that page, hit that page. Okay. When you get to the medications, we'll talk about that in training. When you get to the legacy, that's where the sizzle is at. And that's where you have to explain all 3 things very, very well. Okay. Every single time. Make sure you play the video every single time. When you get to the protection plans, I say protection plans, not options. Okay. So I want to be very assumptive that we're gonna protect someone. That's when I ask. Let's see. That's where I ask. Who are we trying to protect as well? Okay, I think that's super important. I like to ask the question, now, are we looking to just take care of final expenses or leave some money behind? I think that's super important. Okay. And I let them know once I give them the protection plans, I explain each one, and then I'm quiet. Okay, I let them pick. I feel like the first one to speak loses. Okay, so I'm there in silence. I don't try to justify anything. I don't nothing. All right, I just want them to pick one. Once they make a selection, I hit next, and then I go to the primary beneficiary. I know that's not first, but I always go to the primary beneficiary because I want to hit home that this is not for them. It's going right to the beneficiary. I'm going to put in their last name. Okay, then I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to fill out all the information accordingly. All right. At the very end, I want to make sure that they explain back to me what they had just done. I want to make sure that there's a promise that they're going to make that payment each month. My promise back to them is to make sure that they're taken care of. And then I don't want to leave there without 3 to 5 referrals. Okay. And I use the form of, do you know of anyone else kind of like you that's on a fixed income that may or may not have coverage? If they do, great, we can help protect it. And just like we're going to protect your policies, if they don't have any coverage at all, I definitely want to help them right away. But 3 to 5, don't leave there without getting referrals and asking. I would go a step further and have them just say, hey, do me a favor. You give them a call first and let them know that I'm going to be calling or stopping by in the next day or two while I'm in the neighborhood. Okay, so if you have questions, review that, but reach out to us. Be more than happy to help you. Thank you.